to one of the biggest downsides of the iPhone 15 Pro in my opinion, and why I sometimes even prefer the S24 Ultra, is the 3x lens is the closest that I can get. In today's video, we're gonna talk about a solution from Sandmarc that I have in my pockets right here. This is their brand new 6x telephoto lens. We're gonna test it out, we're gonna see how good it actually is, and we're also gonna compare it to the 10x lens of the S24 Ultra. So grab a cup of coffee and let's get going. Hey, what is up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In case you're new here, welcome. My name is Julian and I'm the creator of Smartphone Filmmaking Pro. Today, like I said, we're gonna talk about the 6x telephoto lens from Sandmarc. But first up, let's clarify, why would you want a 6x telephoto lens that, to be honest, is quite heavy? By the way, it feels very solid, very high quality, but it is, to be honest, it is quite big. Why would you want to use something like this in the first place? And I've mentioned it briefly at the beginning of the video, like one of my biggest gripes when it comes to the iPhone 15 Pro is the closest focal distance that I have built in is a 3x lens. And for example, if I'm on a vacation, if I'm in the city, wherever, I would like to have a closer focal length like I have on the Galaxy S24 Ultra with this 10x lens. It's getting very loud, but I think you're getting the picture. In this video, we're gonna test out if this is actually good, if the quality is good. So yeah, let's find out. Let's get going. All right, so let's talk about how you can use the 6x telephoto lens from Sandmarc. My recommended way of using that is getting a case from Sandmarc. They have a bunch of different options. I'm using this leather one right here. Like, it looks super cool. It has a very nice patina. It offers protection. And the coolest thing for us as being a smartphone filmmaker is you can also attach lenses directly. You can not only attach this telephoto lens, you can also attach their brand new probe lens, their anamorphic lenses, all the lenses they have basically. So how this works is super simple. I'm always using the bottom left lens right here because this is the 1x, the main shooter that the iPhone has. And this is always going to deliver the best results. So what you're gonna do, basically just attach it, and then it's basically just like, you basically just screw it in, just give it a couple of spins, and then it's secured in nicely. Next up, obviously, just detach the lens cap, and then you can basically just open up your camera app. I'm just gonna show you what this looks like, because at the beginning, this is probably what you're gonna see. So switch over to the 1x lens. Like, once this macro thing pops up, like, all you need to do is just disable it. Could also do this in the settings app. And then you're basically ready to shoot. And then there's one more quirk, or one extra thing that you need to do with this lens is at the front right here, you actually have a focus wheel. So instead of, or this is basically like you're seeing it on big DSLR lenses. So for example, you can see this flag right here is in focus now, and you can also see that you have a very nice shallow depth of field. And if I'm spinning the focus wheel, you can see that the that the building in the background is now in focus, and I can rack focus again back to the flag. I can also do the same thing with Alex. One thing that I noticed when using the lens is that it struggles a little bit with the auto exposure. So this is something that happened quite often, that is just way too bright. So I'm trying to get focus on Alex. It's a little too close. Let's move back. Yeah, that's in focus now. And then I just found myself needing to bring down the exposure manually, because as you can see, like, it's changing that again. So that's maybe one downside that I personally don't really like, but that's basically how it works. Next up, let's compare it to the 10x lens of the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. All right, so let's make a real world comparison between the 6x telephoto lens and the 10x telephoto lens that's internally built into the S24 Ultra. So immediately what you can obviously notice is the size. Like, this is just a smartphone. Obviously it's a bigger smartphone, but this, it's not like super ergonomic. When it comes to like what you can see right away, you can notice that the 10x lens on the S24 Ultra is a lot closer than the 6x lens of the iPhone. Obviously it makes sense. This 10x is just 6x, and on the iPhone you could get a little closer by just going to 35x, but you still notice that the palm tree is just a lot bigger on the S24 Ultra. So generally speaking, when it comes to the convenience and to the actually how close you can get, it's still a bit better on the S24 Ultra. There are obviously also upsides to using a lens like this. I'm just going to show you here real quick. We've talked about that before just a little bit, but with that lens, with the Sandmarc lens, you do have the very big upside that you get a natural depth of field. You get a natural shallow depth of field. I'm a little too close to Alex, but if I'm focusing on him right now, you notice that the background is super blurry. I do struggle a little bit, like I said, with the exposure, but as you can see right now, if I lock that, you get a very nice and natural shallow depth of field. Another thing that is also very noticeable, that is a bit of a downside of this, add-on lens, is the stabilization is obviously a lot worse compared to the 10x lens on the Samsung. I'm gonna play you a couple of clips right now where you can see like the direct comparison, but with the Samsung, you have it directly built into the camera, so this one is just an external lens that you're attaching. So there are many pros and cons, and we'll talk about the conclusion in just a minute. But to be honest, as I have been using that lens, I did enjoy it very much. So I think in the end, it just comes down to your personal preference, and if you want to use an Android phone, or if you're willing to use an external lens like this one right here. All right, so let's talk about the conclusion to the 6x telephoto lens from Sandmarc. I have been using it all day now, and I do have a bit of mixed feelings, to be honest. When it comes to me being a photographer, me being a professional filmmaker, I absolutely love this thing because it just, creates images that have more character and that are not like, tack sharp and super perfectly polished like you're getting it with, with the S24 Ultra, for example. So generally speaking, I really like the final outcome of the images that I'm getting. And I can also see myself using this lens for portrait photography, for example. And also if I'm filming an interview, for example, and I want to get a second angle, like, just off the side a little bit with a 45-degree angle, and I'm getting a close-up shot with some very nice looking natural shallow depth of field, and natural is here very important to point out. Like, I think for these kinds of scenarios, it is really cool. On the other side, if you're just an end user, a consumer basically, and you just want to get some, closer focal lengths and some tighter shots basically, but you're probably not willing to take a big thing like this with you on the go, then I do think, getting a smartphone like the S24 Ultra that has a 10x lens built in is still the way to go. So I think you just have to decide for yourself, like in which of these categories you see yourself the most. But if you're willing to put in the work, if you're willing to, play around, and if you're willing to, invest the time to get those proper shots, like I think this is really, really cool. And to be honest, as you can see with this shot, like I love the natural shallow depth of field, having a blurry background. Like that's the style that I love. That's also why I still love using the big cameras. So yeah, if that description fits you, then this is the way to go. And if not, then you might need to get the iPhone 15 Pro Max or even something like the S24 Ultra. We just recently have launched our brand new Content Creator Foundations course, which you can get for just $1 in case you want to learn how to take better videos, how to edit those videos, how you can land your first client as a smartphone content creator, and you also want to learn how social media works. It's just $1. It's an absolute no-brainer. You can check it out. It will be the first link down below. And in case you have not seen the video where I'm showing you how you can shoot cinematic videos using the S24 Ultra, then check out this video over there.